Good evening. Welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for the month of February 2024. Welcome, everybody, to 2024. It's the first time we've been together in 2024. And first time in 6 months. We were just reviewing our minutes. It's the first time in 6 months we've been together. Welcome, everybody out there in TV land, and thanks for being with us. Before we go any further, I'd like to ask the assembled members, or I'd like to introduce our assembled members, I guess. First, we'll start with our zoning enforcement officer, Jack Demersion. We have Deb Satonic, our secretary, it says over there on our nameplate. And we have Bonnie Syat, our stenographer. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
I've only heard it every, okay.
Perfect,
Okay.
perfect.
And we have Pat Panza, Wayne Garrick, Greg Natalino, and Eric, I'm sorry, your last name. Horzell is with us tonight on our meeting. So I'd like to ask our members if they had a chance to review our minutes from last meeting. Any corrections?
Everything seems to be in order.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes then?
Make a motion, approve the minutes.
Thank you, Greg. Any seconds? Pat, second by Pat. All opposed? All for? Aye. All right, the minutes are accepted. Thank you.
Just a reminder for the microphones too, before Chris comes out and yells at.
I got the green light on. I
Okay,
already
yeah,
did
for
that already.
everyone else.
He already gave me the evil eye about that.
Okay.
So, moving right along with our business, we have a public hearing tonight. If I could ask Wayne if you would read the public notice into the record?
To appear one time on Wednesday, January 24th, 2024, and one time on Wednesday, January 31st, 2024. Orange Zoning Board of Appeals, notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Orange Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a meeting on Monday, February 5th, 2024, at 7 o'clock
Did you
p.m.
make sure your microphone's on? I'm sorry, I don't think it's on. Thank you.
It looked green. We'll start, second take.
That's, you can continue from where you are.
Yeah.
They got it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you can continue.
At the Orange Town Hall, 617 Orange Center Road, to conduct a public hearing on the following. Petition number 1829, submitted by Michael Serickman III for property known as 576 Hawkins Road to construct an addition onto the existing single-family dwelling. A variance of section 383-30B, setback from rear property line, is requested. Application materials are on file in the Orange zoning office. A copy of this notice has been filed with the Orange Town Clerk. Dated in Orange, Connecticut, this 23rd day of January 2024. Noah Eisenhandler, Chairman, Orange Zoning Board of Appeals.
Thank you, Wayne. And before we go any further, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that Wayne is a new grandfather, has a young grandson, Devin. Congratulations. Always want to stop to acknowledge good news.
Thank you very much.
With that, we're going to open up our first public hearing. If you wish to speak at this public hearing, please come up to the podium, introduce yourself by your name and your address, please. Please speak out loud into the mics. The mics don't amplify, they just record, so please keep your voice up. With that, I'll ask the proponent of this to come on up. Thank you. You were doing the right thing. I just slowed you down. Just introduce yourself, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Sirachman, Michael Sirachman III. My address is 576 Hawkins Road, Orange.
If you pronounce it Sirachman?
Sirachman,
correct?
yes.
Thank you, Mr. Sirachman.
Yes.
Thank you. Proceed.
I'm here today to request a variance of a rear setback. My addition will project, I believe it's 14.6 feet into the setback of the rear line of the property. The addition is so we've got an existing three-car garage. The wall of the three-car garage, you've got the drawings and photos and everything. The wall of the three-car garage is going to be pushed out by 10 feet. And then after that is constructed, a new four-car garage would be put on an angle, which you can see in the drawings. And the corner of one of the bays, like I said, projects into the setback.
allow me to just clarify, looking at your survey, it looks like the septic is on the north side of your house?
That's correct.
Okay, so that basically blocks off the north side of your property then,
Yes.
correct? And in the, I believe the southwest corner, you have like a pie slice that you're
Correct.
projecting the,
Yes,
the addition into?
yes.
Any questions for this applicant? Go
I
ahead,
have a
Pat.
question. Could you explain to me the hardship?
The hardship is it's the only place on my property that I'm able to do it, because I've got the septic on the northerly side.
Okay. Then have you considered as far as reducing the size of the addition? Meaning reducing the four-car garage to a three-car garage and reducing the, I guess you could call it the mudroom that's tying the two in?
I did, and I have, and after going over that with the architects, the mudroom, as you could probably see there, really doesn't, if we reduce the size of the mudroom, it really doesn't allow the 4 cars. The reason that I'm asking for the variance and the reason for the 4-car design is that I'd have a 4th family member coming into my home. Currently, it's me, my wife Lindsay, my mom, and then it would be my sister. And it's just so 4 of us can park our vehicles in the garage, almost a security standpoint, if you will. My wife's car was going through the other night, and
Wayne?
Do you feel that this is the least amount of relief that you could seek? I noticed that the garage doors are all 10 feet wide. Sorry.
We're learning about green lights.
To repeat, do you feel that this is the least amount of relief that you should be seeking, considering that the garage doors are 10 feet wide? And if they were sort of more a standard 9 feet wide, your relief would be 4 feet less? Is that a possibility? Why the 10-foot wide garage doors?
it was just from a functionality standpoint, if you will. You know, not putting doors into another car parked next to you.
I understand that, but that's more a factor of the space that you have between, which is 2 feet, which is fairly typical. So that's what prevents the cars from not having a door into door perhaps. But would 9-foot doors be acceptable to you?
Yes, short answer is yes, if that's, you know, what it took to get it done. Yeah.
I mean, I could see maybe you have one vehicle that might require a 10-foot wide door. Maybe you have extraordinarily large mirrors or something I've seen on some vehicles. But not sure that.
We
so
do.
Maybe 2 of the doors could be 9 and 2 could be 10 or something like that in order to perhaps reduce the amount of relief that you're seeking. So would that be a consideration?
We have 2 vehicles that are both, I have a 2500 truck and my wife has a large SUV. We have 2 vehicles that would require it, and that's kind of what it was based off of in the beginning. But I would revisit that if asked.
The other thing is, I noticed in your application and letter, you know, looking at the plans, the sort of kitchen, family room, breakfast area of the addition is quite substantial, and there's a sink and a refrigerator. And you made mention that no stove would be installed, but how do we know that that will not become a 2-family house?
I mean, I have no intention to ever make it a 2-family home. It's not my intention.
Because there are, the front facade clearly depicts, it looks like 2 residences there attached to it.
Understood. The reason
Is there
for
another- Excuse me one second.
Sure.
Is there another way to articulate, maybe with a porch or recessing the second entrance to downplay its prominence in terms of mitigating some of the 2-familyness, I'm not sure that's a word, but of the elevation?
The reason for the second entrance, which I kind of explained a little bit about this in the letter, that was something that was dictated by my sister, and we talked about it, my wife and myself. As her daughter grows up, she's a newborn. Tomorrow will be 30 days old, and as she grows up, when she comes home, I'm trying to restore a little bit of normalcy to their lives. And as she comes home off the bus one day, in my mind, it's her coming home to her house, not coming home to Uncle Mike's house. So that's really,
Let's understand.
Yeah,
yeah,
I get it.
that's all.
Jack, did you have some say on that?
No, I was just gonna comment on the two-family. I was just gonna say, by Orange's code, our from 1 to 2 is a second cooking facility. So, yeah, so
I know that.
you're 100% right. You know, but the applicant would not be able to install another stove or range or something like that without permitting it, and then it would be obviously flagged because it's not a two-family house.
That's if they take a permit.
I think we can assume everybody's gonna play by the rules.
He's here tonight.
He wouldn't be here asking for a favor if he wasn't a guy
Yeah,
who played by
right.
the rules.
Well, he would have to, it'd be kinda hard to hide this.
Anybody else have any questions for the applicant? Greg or Erica looked like you had something you wanted to say, and then you held yourself back, yeah?
No, just, like Wayne had, said, you know, maybe, you know, I don't have a problem, I mean, you border open space, the next neighbor is Milford through the woods. I don't have a problem, you know, with a little bit of grabbing some of that, setback, but, you know, like you said, maybe do 9-foot doors, you know, maybe bring it in a little bit, just some sort of a compromise, you know, I think, you know, may help, just kind of downsize things. I mean, 9-foot doors are still a pretty good sized door. I mean, I know people have 8-foot doors. You know, your average vehicle's 6.5 feet wide. You know, I have a 2500 series pickup truck.
Yep.
I know how wide the mirrors are.
Yeah.
You know, so I just, you know, looking for maybe some sort of a compromise on it. Mind grabbing some space. You're not infringing on the neighbors. It's not unsightly. The house does look a little, you know, townhouse-ish, duplex-looking.
Out of scale.
You know, from the front. You know, maybe soften that up just a little bit maybe, and just, like I said, maybe do, you know, 9-foot doors. Just, you know, even your third bay, if I squared it up, even it looks like the third bay is in that space by 5 feet. So, you know, I'm not saying that you can't, you know, we wouldn't, object to this, but just maybe compromise a little bit instead of, you know, just, cause there's nothing wrong with, you know, 9-foot doors, and just kinda, like I said, just scale it down, maybe a hair, just give and take a little,
I'm open to that.
So, I just want to clarify here, it looks like, on the proposed addition, the southwest corner is where you're really needing the variance, just because of the shape of the lot. The lot kind of has a it's like a square with it's kind of an odd triangle.
It is.
There, and that sharp cut, or the shape of your land is what's causing you to need this variance, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And really, I guess you'd call it the southeast corner of the proposed addition is, you almost don't need a variance for that, correct? I don't see a line on your plan, but I can just look.
So it's actually a
The two
line-
congruent lines would be, it would be greater than 35 feet, is what I'm saying. That, like, it's almost like a triangle or a little
It's-
triangle piece of the,
It's a
Proposed
it's a
addition
triangle
is what's-
piece of the back garage there.
Yeah.
Is what
Is
the
what's
what
causing
the
the need for the-
projection is, correct.
okay. And again, behind you is the Pepe Family Trust, that's an open space, correct?
It's, Steve has a couple of lots there. One lot borders my property. I spoke with Steve. There's a text message from him and
Yeah,
I
I'll read
that
that in the record.
he had no issue with it, yeah.
And again, your septic is off to the north side of the house, you basically can't build there.
Yes,
So you're stuck building in the corner here?
yes.
Okay,
Another question, if I may.
got it.
Is this house gonna be a 4-bedroom or 5-bedroom?
The house will end up being, when it's done per the plans, will be a 6-bedroom home.
6-bedroom.
Correct.
And you've already got approval as far as a preliminary septic increase?
I don't have an approval from the town, but I've spoken with TM Wright, Jay Damon, and we would be increasing the size of the tank to a 1,500-gallon tank, and then extending leaching fields.
Okay, and he's already checked for reserve and all that?
Yes.
Okay, and that's something that's coming, meaning the actual design is coming from,
That'd be coming from Jay Damon, TM Wright.
Okay.
That's correct. And he would be the one doing the work.
no, I know
Yeah,
Jay.
yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else have any other questions? Anybody else want to speak on behalf of the applicant? See, your wife is here. She want to talk to us too? No, you got it? Okay. Anybody else want to speak on behalf of the application? Give me a step. Let me sit down.
Thank you.
We'll get with in a
Thank you,
second.
everyone.
Anybody want to oppose, speaking anti, or anybody opposed to the application? Going once, going twice? Okay. We do have one piece of correspondence with regards to this. Is from a gentleman named Steve Pepe. It was sent on Wednesday, the 24th at 1:34 PM. It starts, appears to be a text message chain. Starts with a text message from the applicant. Hi, Steve, this is Mike from 576 Hawkins Road. Just leaving a message at the town hall with Jack Demergent. I'm going to be putting a small addition onto my house and will be going for a setback variance on February 5th with the ZBA. I just want to share this with you, as well as any further details. Would you have a minute for a phone call at some point? And on Monday, at 2:03 PM, Mr. Pepe responded, I received the letter from, says form, but I'm going to assume it says from, the Zoning Board of Appeals. I will not oppose your application. Good luck. And the applicant responded, thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate it. So I'll put that in the record as well. With that, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Pat makes a motion, second.
I'll second it.
Thanks. Greg didn't have to remind me to get the motion in a second that time. Okay. Open for discussion, gentlemen. What do you think?
Well, my opinion, I understand his needs and stuff of that sort, but this particular project is much larger than any project that's ever been done in Orange on a residential area. Meaning 6-bedroom unit, 4-car garage. The actual, when you look at this, it does look like a 2-family. I think, he still has to go in front of, and propose a septic, for acceptance with the, sewer, the health department, thank you. And obviously, set of plans that would, have to go in front of building. I do think, the 10-foot doors, as Wayne, indicated, I think they're excessive. I think there's gotta be some adjustment on that, to try to kind of squeeze, not squeeze it down, but scale it down, so it looks more in conformity. I'm not objecting to understanding what he has to do, I'm just objecting the way this thing looks. It looks more like a 2-family than a single resident. That's my point.
Anybody else? Yes, Wayne.
I have a question for you as
Oh.
an attorney,
Oh.
so to speak. And not as an attorney, but
Yeah.
my question, and that is, I'm wondering, and based upon, your profession and your experience, is this a self-created hardship? I mean, what is the, how can this not, what was explored in terms of not having to apply for a variance as opposed to applying for one? I'm not an attorney myself, that's for sure.
Okay,
And
well, I
so-
just play one on TV, so,
Did you really?
no.
Well, but
I do watch Law and Order occasionally, I'm always curious because I've probably appeared before 250 or 300 ZBA meetings in my brief career.
Yeah.
And I was just, but I'm usually on the other side, and I'm curious. You know, we present what we think is our hardship from time to time, and it's just something that's come up, and I'm curious. I'm not necessarily opposed to this application. I'm just curious as to your thoughts on that matter.
Well, my thoughts, if you're asking about this case in particular, I don't see it as self-created because the lot was shaped before he built it. This isn't like he somehow, reshaped his lot or anything like that. That's my crude understanding of it. Jackie, you wanna help me out here?
Yeah, I mean, hardship is completely up to interpretation by the
Right.
board.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why these things are not, what we ruled on a year ago has no impact on what we rule on tonight.
Right.
Everything is taken individually,
I-
which I know is not your question, but it's up to the board what's self-created and what is, incidental to the
I
lot.
guess, I understand that any approval does not set precedent, that
Right.
I'm well aware
Right,
of.
yeah.
But going by our regulations, I'm just wondering, it sort of brings that question to mind to
Yeah,
see.
you're looking for a definition of self-created.
Right, that's not in our regulations, and I'm wondering, what sort of, maybe the applicant can explain, I should have asked him when he's up there,
Yeah,
sorry.
close
But,
the door, back up.
I know he can't come back up, but, what sort of process they went through and how they arrived at this.
Well, he did kind of describe it to us. He
Yeah.
talked about how he's bringing in
Right,
his family and he's trying to house them in a certain way. And, self-created may be one of those things that, I don't know what it is, but I know it when I see it, kind of like pornography. I'm not sure what it is, but I know when I see it. In this particular
I
case,
like
I
that.
wouldn't say that this is kind of that's not my line.
I'm
I stole
using that at my next,
Okay,
meeting.
I stole that from a Supreme Court opinion.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus.
On the First Amendment,
Right,
covering
right, I
pornography.
remember
but
that.
In this particular case, I don't necessarily see it as self-created here because the building area that's available on the lot is defined by the boundaries of the lot. This isn't like he had a square lot and he's shoved himself over into a corner or closer to the road. This is,
I think that's a good example of what it would be. Let's say he originally built the house in one corner
Yeah.
of it and not centered, where he could only go in one direction, but if he wanted to go in the other, that's more self-created. This one, you have a structure in the middle of the lot. He can't go one way because his septic is constraining him. He can't go backwards, that's into his pool, and he's already pretty much at the front setback. So I think if, a good example would be if he built it in the corner, that's a self-created hardship.
Good question. Would, by shrinking the doors, let's say from 10 to 9 or 8'6", or whatever the case may be, does that not minimize the actual amount of his request?
Absolutely.
Which it would soften, in my opinion. It would
Correct.
soften and be more appealing to the zoning board, in my opinion, strictly, by the way, that he could still get what he wants, and yet, we could minimize the impact, because honestly, a 10-foot door is excessive. 9-foot door, I can tell you, even with a vehicle that's even larger, you can still get it in with an 8-foot door. I'm not saying he has to put an 8-foot door in, but what I'm saying is I think they gotta soften. If you take 4 feet out of the garage, per se, that's gonna soften the request, in my opinion.
It mitigates it,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
but that's also something he has to take up with P and Z when he
No.
makes plans and things.
Well,
He
no,
doesn't
so this
take-
wouldn't have
he
to go
doesn't
in
take
front of-
that. He doesn't take that up with us. So our only job is to discover whether there's a hardship.
Whether there's a hardship or feasible, alternatives.
Right.
You know.
What ends
You know,
up,
to me, the foot of door, I'm doing crude math here, I'm not a builder, but, he needs a 15-foot variance, we take 4 feet away, now he needs a 12-foot variance.
yeah,
or
but
an
if
11-foot
it's
variance.
done correct, if it's done correctly, you get it down to an 8-foot variance. I'm not
I'm
saying
not sure
that's.
that those, go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go, please. You, just
You know,
catch me before I stick my
think,
foot in my mouth.
I know I brought up the question,
Mm-hmm.
but I think, I've been before plenty of boards that got hung up on some small item,
Mm-hmm.
and we wonder in the audience what's going on. And this might be one of them, because I understand, I mean, my question was directed to the applicant, because we could say 4 feet if, so then that begs the question, how important is that 4 feet? So I'm sitting here listening to everybody and wondering in the overall scheme of things, whether that 4 feet, even though I feel like this could have been handled in a different manner from a design standpoint, I feel like we're almost splitting hairs.
I think that's a wise point, Wayne.
Yes and no. Let me just make one other comment about that. The idea of a ZBA, and we're either black or white. And the thing is, many of these proposals come in front of us, and they sometimes are absurd, and sometimes they're within line. What I'm saying to you here is that our job is to turn around and say, does this make sense? Okay? Meaning that, does this fit the overall picture of what Town of Orange wants to see? Now, you go around the Town of Orange,
We're here to determine hardships.
that's what I'm saying, that's what I'm
But,
talking.
well, you know.
Okay,
overall
I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I'm just, I understand where you're going with
Yeah.
that, but you're right, it's black and white, hardship or not.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what we're here to determine.
That's correct, that's what my point I'm trying to get across.
I understand, and I accept your comment, or your comments, Pat, those are good, yes.
So, we're treating each property individually, right?
Correct.
So now if if he had a neighbor right to the left of him, this would be pretty much, I wanna say like a no-go, because this house was built in the 1990s, right? And in the 1990s, all the zoning stuff was already in line. It's not like this is a farmhouse that was built in 1821 where they're set 10 feet off the road and are looking to put an addition off the side, in that kind of a case, is it look at it like, okay, no problem, you're already pre-existing non-conforming, do your addition. It's not gonna, you're not putting an addition front between the house and the road, you put it on the side. That's fine. This is a newer home that's already has all the zoning in place, and everything is proportioned, the house is put where it was supposed to be, based on septics, homes are built in Orange on properties based on setbacks and septic. And your well has to be X feet from X, Y, and Z, right? So, because this is, like you said, this lot is kind of a funny shape going in that corner, he doesn't have a neighbor to the left of him, I think like I said, there could be some compromise here, right? But if he had a neighbor to the left of him, looking at 10-foot doors and, having, projecting in, at that point, it's kind of a, moot issue, and it's like, the law's already in place, right? To protect everybody, the community, whatever, the integrity of Orange, and why everything is, all the zoning laws are, created, to, create, proportioned properties, right? But this is unique, and the fact that there is open space and woods behind them and a trust. So, as far as the hardship goes, it's, it's always gray area. But given this, I think still maybe some sort of compromise should be, made maybe a little bit, moving forward in things where, like, if you look at a thing like, instead of going for the gold, maybe just go for the silver, give and take, compromise, a little bit, but like I said, this is a unique piece of property, so it is a little different.
I
But,
think we're all in agreement that there is, I'm sorry, Wayne. I didn't cut you.
No,
Go ahead, Wayne.
I think the applicant explained his reason for at least 2 of the doors being as wide as they are based on the type of vehicles that he owns. And that might be part of the design criteria that was established here. So, so then that comes to, are we now just talking about 2 feet? Let's say you made 2 doors 10 and 2 doors 9. only talking about 2 feet less.
Well, look, right.
And based on what Eric has said in terms of the adjacent properties, I don't know, it doesn't sound like that it's worth it to just not have some flexibility, so to speak, and recognize this need, particularly since it sounds like it's going to be a house where there will be 3 generations. Well, yeah, 3 generations, and, but I agree with Pat about, and I'm not sure whether it's in our purview of this, probably not, of looking like a 2-family house. That's, I think that bothers me more
Yeah,
than the
we had no
10-foot
control over
wide
that.
garage
Yeah,
doors.
I know that.
I understand that.
I wish there was a way that, I don't know if it's, as I said, within our powers, but I wish there was a way to redesign the entries so that one looked like the primary entry and another looked like a secondary entry, even, because there's already a tertiary entry as part of the front elevation as well, that goes into the mudroom.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we can't
Yeah.
determine that, so.
That would be my
And it
advice to
will-
the applicant.
Assuming, you know, if this applicant were to receive
Right.
an approval, or whatever decision was made tonight, that would be reviewed, you know, once this was awarded.
Yeah.
So, you know, we still might find an issue or something that we need revised, but for the purposes of tonight's hearing, we're, you know,
We
we're looking
can't
at
vote on it, yeah.
hardship or not.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're only
I think we-
talking about 2 feet, and is it really worth it?
I think Wayne, your advice that maybe we're focused on something that maybe we shouldn't be is wise. I think we can pretty much agree looks like there's at least a hardship here. So, would anybody propose, I'll ask for a motion from the floor.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Wayne second, we got, Pat made a motion and Wayne seconds. Anybody want to take a stab at drafting a motion? Or the language of the motion?
No, the language of the motion would be, the hardship has been proven, although they may look at minimizing the impact on the request for a variance, if they can work that detail out. That's what I would be looking
We
at.
can.
We can work with the applicant, but for the purposes of tonight, the board has made a motion
That's
to
correct.
approve the 14.6-foot
That
variance
is
that was
correct.
presented to
That
them.
is correct. That's
Can
the
we
only
add-
thing that we can do.
And that could be part of the, that's
We
on the
wanna add a
record, that is,
caveat.
yes.
Correct.
Okay.
I heard Pat say that too.
Okay. Okay,
I did say that, didn't
Of course.
I? Okay.
all right. So let's call for a vote. Please call the roll.
Yes.
Greg,
Yes. in
Eric?
favor. Yes.
Wayne,
Aye.
Dave,
Yes, in favor.
Good luck.
That would be 5-0.
Thank you, it's approved. You have to record it on the town the land records when you get it.
You'll be hearing from me. Yeah.
Okay. With all that said, I want to thank all the board members for their hard work. Noah, we're thinking of you. Get back to us quickly. I'm sure everybody else would like to see him driving the meeting instead of me.
Why?
So,
What was that again?
No, he was saying that he was well wishes to know and that he would like him to come back. I think he did a great
is there any
job.
more
Yeah.
business to come before the board?
I think, Pat, you might have missed it. I believe we are going to be meeting next month as well.
Okay.
Sorry. We have a potential new license for an automotive use. There's already an automotive business at the location, but they're switching owners. So the owner
to do
needs
it
his
again.
license from the DMV. So I think we have to put him through it's a transfer, but they can't transfer the license.
No.
It's gotta be a new license from the DMV.
They have to come in front of us.
So the ZBA has to approve just the location of that automotive use. It's odd that the ZBA has to rule on this, and what I was saying before, is the state of Connecticut actually came out with a rule that the ZBA does not have to do this anymore. Orange is not changing our rules. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So I think we're just gonna leave it, but the ZBA doesn't, it's an approved use in the zone. That is for the TPZC. But for some reason, the state, as of not recently, but for historically, has required the ZBA to approve the location of an automotive use because the DMV needs our signature before they award the license.
Now, does he have to go in front of the fire department? Do they have to come back and look at that?
If he's doing any alterations to the physical building or anything, yes, but to my knowledge, it is just a sale of the business.
Oh.
The new owner needs the license, he can only get the license if we say
We
yes.
don't want to get into the discussion.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, I don't wanna get too deep.
Let's not talk too much
What I'm
about the
saying
facts
is,
right now.
plan on being here next month, or maybe
we
the
got
month
it.
after,
What is
that's,
that- what is the date? Is it March?
it would, yeah, the first Monday
first
of
Monday.
March, yeah.
For those of you
I-
out there in
I have
TV
some.
land, we're on the first Monday of every month.
Yeah, that's all I had.
All right,
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Pat makes a motion to adjourn. Any second?
Second.
Second from Wayne. So moved.
No, you have to.
All those in
vote.
favor?
Oh, aye,
Any objections?
no.
Let's go that way. All right. Have a safe evening, everyone.
Yeah,
Take care.
nice job.